Again, I concede it. That's the only sort of possibility so far, but I don't think he would.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stone Face Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Justin, and we are back with episode 6 of Fate Zero. How about you go ahead and remind us what happened the last time?
Absolutely. So last time was the first big fight that was a continuation from the previous episode. That was between Arthur Pendragon and insert name that is a Scottish folk figure. It's either Scottish or Irish, one of the two.
I don't know, I remember the name being like Gaelic, so...
Yes, it was Gaelic, because one of the weapons went through mana, and one of the weapons, which were spears, made it so the wounds couldn't heal. And in that fight, I think we've had the reveal of all of the servants now, because Berserker was released, who is a armored knight. The name hasn't been clarified. I joked around saying it would be hilarious if it was Merlin. I don't think it is. Because I don't think you would get an armored tank and call it Merlin.
I mean, that's something somebody would do for irony's sake.
Irony's sake, yeah. I think we're more likely to get a Lancelot or a Galahad.
I don't know why you think it has to be from, that specific mythos.
Because there was a clear moment where they just beeline for Pendragon.
You mean Saber?
Saber.
Yeah, but why wouldn't it then be one of the villains from that mythos? Why would it have to be one of...
Because within the summoning circle, they added the lines for Berserk. So I don't think it was originally a Berserk
No, I'm
situation.
saying why wouldn't it be one of the villains from that mythos? Not why would it be a Berserker? I mean, I think we already had a conversation about, I think, the fact that they added 2 lines to make it Berserker just specified that they would get the Berserker and not some other class.
Yes, but I think what they did was they had a means to summon one of the knights, and what they did was they added Berserk to make it fit. I don't think it's a villain. I think that's too obvious.
Well, I mean, the Black Knight is literally from Arthurian legend.
It's true. And
And
I
what
think
is this guy?
I don't think you'd have to add Berserk for the Black Knight.
No, I think you're misinterpreting every time I say this. I'm saying I think they added the Berserker lines to ensure that they got Berserker. Not to ensure that he is a Berserker, but to ensure they didn't summon the Archer class or anything. That they summoned the Berserker class.
I fully acknowledge and understand what you're saying with that. I am of the camp that I think it is a corrupted one of Saber's knights. I think there is significance to them adding the lines for Berserk. I think there's more to it.
Well, I mean, the Black Knight wouldn't be Berserker either.
That's what I mean.
Right, they added the line. You can't use the same argument to say you're wrong about this thing.
No. So I don't think you're. I don't know who's wrong. This is my guess.
No, I'm saying you said exactly when I said the Black Knight isn't Berserker either. When you're also claiming that they added the line to make a non-Berserker a Berserker. So, right. And I'm also pointing out that the Berserker that we see in the show is wearing black armor.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Black Knight from also Arthurian legend.
Yes.
You know, or any other black armored figure from anything else.
It's true.
I don't know why. I'm just saying I don't know why in all of history, we have all of history's mythological figures to work with. You want to make this guy also from Arthurian legend.
I don't know. It's
Nobody
something I
else
wanted to
is.
latch onto.
I feel like you'd have more of a base if like all of them were, you know, if all of these people were Arthurian in some place, but no two people come from the same mythos.
Yep. Like I said, I'm fully aware I could be wrong. This is this is what I've determined I think. If I am proven wrong, I fully accept it.
All right. Uh,
Uh but the fighting continued. We did have first the stepping in of Gilgamesh. No, was Gilgamesh first or was it Alexander?
I mean, you could make an argument that Caneth stepped in first.
Yeah.
Oh no, technically no. Technically, Caneth doesn't step in until Berserker steps in. Well, Caneth doesn't step in, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Because once everything kicks off and Berserker shows up, Berserker basically pisses off Gilgamesh to the point where he is forced to retreat via command.
I would argue the sequence of events is Saber steps up against Lancer. Lancer's first one on field
Yep.
because he lures
Yep.
Saber there. Saber's
Correct.
there. Then Ryder steps in. Then then Gilgamesh. I should probably use either. You should either use classes or names. I'm using both interchangeably. It's Alexander the Great
Yep.
steps in, and then Gilgamesh, and then Berserker comes out to fight Gilgamesh.
So Berserker just shows up. Like Berserker gets called and Gilgamesh is the one that ends up being the first fight.
Right. Because Gilgamesh, well, I mean not the first fight. The first fight, Saber and Lancer.
But
Gilgamesh
involving
attacks
Berserker.
Berserker, yeah,
Yeah.
and then Berserker counterattacks Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh gets called back from the field using a command spell
Yep.
because he's going to use too much of his power, and they don't want him to reveal everything he can do. Then Berserker is already Berserk, goes off and then attacks Saber. I'm sorry, Arthur, Pendragon, whatever name part we want to use.
Yep.
Um, and then Lancer. Sorry, I'm gonna call him Lancer because I cannot pronounce any Gillick name ever.
Yep.
Goes to help Saber. Sorry, Arthur. And that's when Caneth steps in to use the command spell. So that is the sequence of events of people stepping in to interfere.
Correct, because then once the command spell happens, that's when I'm gonna try using the class name right now. That's when Ryder actually does something
Well,
and
you just
basically
said
stops the fight.
Gilgamesh, and remember, Gilgamesh is not Ryder.
I'm fully aware. I stopped myself because I first predicted that Ryder was before seeing Archer / Gilgamesh, but Alexander / who is Ryder then sees it's an unfair fight, goes in with his chariot, smokes Berserker. And then that is where everyone gets called off. That's where the fight ends.
Right. Sorry, I'm just doing a quick double check here. I did not actually do it, but okay. Okay. I said before that we would take a quick look at the cards.
Yeah.
Before. I had completely forgotten about it. You know what, though? Forgetful nature has also helped me here. Because even back when I don't know how many months it's been. 10 months? Almost a year now? I never deleted them. So I still have the old originals. So here we go. Sending them your way.
That's
And
amazing.
normally I would have put them up on screen, but hopefully future me will remember to edit them in. So I guess starting in the order here, Saber.
Yeah.
You have their master's name. You have their true name, which I guess is just a different version of Arthur, which is Arturia. We know the gender because for Saber, it is a plot point that they are gender-bent King Arthur. Don't know why they have alignments. But there you go, lawful good. And of course, you can see their stat scores, which is bad. It's BAAAD. Bad.
Okay, so Saber has one thing that they are trash at.
Luck.
Everything else is very high.
Saber's bad luck.
Yeah, there's Lancer. Lancer's
Well,
luck is even
hold
worse.
on. Don't go jumping ahead yet because I've been right. We have to do this in a sequence that I can edit this in later more easily.
Beautiful.
So let's cover the class abilities. She's got magic resistance at a high tier, and as she mentioned, she's got writing at B tier. Her skill is instinct at A level. She can always feel the
Yep.
best course for oneself during combat. Heightened sixth sense, close to precognition. Because these things always feel like they're written for like an RPG that we've never heard of.
I was about to say, this absolutely does.
Mana burst at level A. She can transfer magical energy into one's body and weapon. Charisma at level B. Natural ability to command any army. Because, King of Knights, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And her noble phantasm of invisible air, which you've seen, it's her sword. Her invisible sword.
Yep.
And then the non-spoilery bit, or I mean the spoilery bit, the blacked out area is implying that she has more that we haven't seen yet.
What? She's not at her final form?
Oh, can't click on that. That ruins the cameras. Alright, now Lancer.
Okay.
Which I guess we must have gotten these. These were actually sent by somebody who was watching with us and didn't want to spoil things. So that's why some of these areas are blacked out that we might know right now. Like, we know who Lancer's master is, and we know who he is now.
Yep.
Well, we feel like we know. We're never going to be able to say his Gaelic name, so might as well just be blacked out.
Indeed.
And yeah, that's right. His alignment is lawful moderation. Because that's an alignment.
That might be my favorite alignment in existence so far.
But yeah, he has worse luck than Saber does. Remember, Saber had a D. He has an E.
Yeah.
Looks like he's only better at agility. Otherwise, he
Yeah.
is worse at everything.
Yeah, I don't based off that, it doesn't make sense to the fight he was putting up against Saber.
I mean, might be unexpected. I don't know. He's got worse magic resistance. They both have magic resistance. His is a B. Hers was an A.
Yep.
He's got Mind's Eye, which seems to be the same thing that Saber has, but also hers is at an A. They say that Saber, I believe, during one of the episodes, that she is the best combat
Yes.
class.
Okay, hold on. Mind's Eye. Versus
Heightened
instinct.
insight that was refined through experience, battle logic to create remaining means of escape in a predicament. He can get out of a fight, whereas her instinct is basically like combat precognition.
Yes, so his is more they're two different sides of fight or flight. He understands when to leave.
And I guess when we got sent this, we didn't know his noble phantasm, which I guess is multiple things.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe those are just both of his weapons, because we see there's two boxes here.
I'm guessing yeah.
Alright, then Caster.
Aster better have the power of friendship written down.
You think the guy who kills kids has the power of friendship?
Yep.
I mean, worst stats so far. He has the same luck as
That doesn't
Lancer.
surprise me.
Got territory creation. Creates a special terrain, increases one's capacities as a magus. He's also got item construction, which nothing anybody else has, apparently. Mental pollution, so he can shut out any mental interference. Impossible to come to an understanding with individuals that do not possess an equivalent rank of mental pollution. And he's A rank mental pollution.
Yeah, that's a thing.
I for art at E minus. He's got the worst level of a skill that only he has.
That's amazing.
Well, I mean, all it looks like is if somebody's noble phantasm has some sort of artistic ability, he can maybe figure out its name. But it
Oh,
seems unlikely because he's got such a low score.
yeah.
Oh, that's
Ca-
Caster.
Caster got it rough.
And then Assassin. Lawful. Oh, wait, we didn't say what is what is Caster's alignment?
Chaos slash evil.
Yeah. And then
Not chaotic. Chaos.
well, Assassin is lawful slash evil
Makes
with
sense.
some mediocre uh ability ranks. I mean, like they got near the same agility as Saber, less
Hmm.
than less than Lancer. Same luck as Lancer though. Everyone's got real bad luck. Oh, sorry, same as Saber.
Yeah.
No. It was no. Sorry, it is
No,
Lancer. Saber's is a D. I'm remembering.
correct.
Class abilities: Presence, Concealment, which we know they hide in the shadows. They've got a C in Librarian of Stored Knowledge. Memory processing distributed amongst multiple personalities, so goes along with that.
Yep.
Expert of many specializations at the highest rank. Well, I guess that's the second highest rank. I don't know. This is a Japanese gaming system, so I don't know if there's an S tier. But
I wouldn't be surprised.
we saw that Lancer had not Lancer, Saber had an A plus plus. So A plus is the second highest that we've seen so far. But yeah,
32 different skills. Jeez.
they can change up their skill set by changing personalities. So and their noble phantasm, which apparently we know is delusional illusion.
Yep.
Although that says they're a single entity, even though we've seen multiple of them in a room before.
That can still be the case where it's just a single entity
Well,
manifesting multiple.
that's what it says. He can divide his spiritual potential and materialize as many servants. The largest number, well, voice crack there. The largest number possible is 80 persons, which
Which is
is,
quite impressive.
well, it's so funny. We both said which is, and we were going different ways from there. He has 32 different skills, but 80, 80 bodies, right? So we're gonna be doubling up.
You would have to multiple times.
And Archer, which I think is the last one on the list. I guess EX is the S tier on this one.
Yeah.
So EX, A plus plus, A plus, and A. But yeah, I guess Archer would be our second to Saber, or maybe equivalent.
I'm Archer might be better.
Saber's was B A D A plus plus. So Saber is better endurance, better agility, worse luck, and
I,
only one less in Noble Phantasm.
I think the luck difference is huge
I mean,
because
we
their
don't know what
stats
that
are so
means.
close. I
It,
know.
right, but I mean, it means that Saber can last in a fight longer and avoid more than Archer.
Correct.
And I mean, we don't know what the difference is, but again, between say an A and a B on like a scale.
It's true, but you can infer the difference between an A and a D must be clearly different.
Right, but that's only in like we don't know how that affects anything.
Yeah.
If that was like in strength, it'd be like, okay, one of these two is gonna get tossed. But in luck,
Well, because also magic resistance A,
same. Saber.
charisma A plus.
Yeah, but then again, I don't. You're not gonna talk Saber into not fighting or fighting, right?
It's true.
So I don't know if charisma means much. But they both had magic resistance at A.
So I think it's setting up Archer as the quote unquote better of the two. But the way it's distributed gives Saber a chance to win.
I mean, the golden rule doesn't mean anything. A bunch of these skills just don't mean anything to the fights. I mean, I understand that like gives us understanding of them as a person.
Yeah.
But, if we're like comparing them to one another, cool. Uh he gets more riches in life.
We're missing a card.
No, we're not missing a card. You're missing a card.
Okay.
Or did I delete it? Did I just missing one? I
Because
know
I don't have Alexander there.
Oh, well, we're missing two cards then. We thought of two different cards.
Yes.
Well, maybe we'll do that next time then, because I do not seem to have it here.
Hell yeah.
Must have deleted two of them at some point. I was going to point out we don't have Berserker.
I thought that you intentionally didn't send Berserker.
Oh, no, I mentioned this before, that the Berserker card that I had previously was all weirdly distorted all over the page to make it so
Oh
you could.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that would intentionally show that off because somebody took effort. Nope, must have deleted those two. Well, maybe next time. And by when you, the viewer, when I say next time, I mean next set of recordings, not the next couple of episodes. We're recording these back to back. As once again, we are speed running Justin to catch up.
Indeed.
All right. Anything else you want to go over here? Any of the card stuff? Anything?
No. Going into the episode, we don't have a super clear path of what's coming other than violence.
Well, technically, do you remember the name of this episode?
No.
I think it's like
No.
A Night of Schemes.
Yes. It wasn't schemes. Stratagem.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Schemes.
Oh, let's see if it tells me. It doesn't. We'll see. Either way, it's either schemes or stratagem. One of the two.
That's right. It's Night of Schemes.
Got it.
Look, the only reason I would remember it any more than you is because I have to make the schedule.
Yes.
And I had to look up the names for episodes I have not seen before a bunch of times, and they just stick in my head. All right, well, if that's it, say we go.
No, that's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
go ahead and get on into it then.
Let's do it.
But before we get started,
Make sure that you hit the like button.
hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
Uncensored.
And uncut.
as well as some early access stuff,
You can check it out over on the Patreon.
it's just $5 a month. But hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
I was about to say that's some reckless driving.
思いのほか達者な運転ですね。でしょ
I'm just having fun.
見えても猛特訓したのよ。
True, but those are dangerous roads to do that
おも
on.
ちゃの中でもこ
Eh,
れが一番のお気に入り
no different than what Doctor
のおもちゃ
Strange would
です
do.
か。
Yeah, but that didn't end well for him.
He didn't end well for him. He's Sorcerer
それ
Supreme.
じゃあ中庭をぐるぐる回るだけだったから、もう
Fair enough. It ended well in one way, but he also has shaky hands and lost everyone he ever loved.
ダメよ、つまんない。
He didn't.
じゃなくて、危険ですもん。
He went right back to her to help her
敵に襲われたらどう
perform a
するの？
surgery on himself, if you
それ
recall.
はそうですが。止まって。
You're remembering Doctor Strange very differently because he crashed and his hand turned into this.
車
Yeah.
から降りて。私
Then
の
he
そば
became
に離れ
Sorcerer
ないで。
Supreme. It was a trade-off.
この気配。
And then during one of the fights, his body got hurt, and he had to send it back to his old doctor buddy, who you said he lost all of his loves. That's literally a woman that he loved, and he got back in touch with her because of it. Literally, everything in his life became better after he lost everything that he didn't really care about.
No, because that turned into a situation where he loves her, but she's now with somebody else.
It happens sometimes.
True. I'm just saying the car crash wasn't a great time for him.
No, you said things turned out badly for him.
They did.
Arguably, he has many more friends than he's ever had in his life.
No, he has people who want things from him.
No, he has people that hang out with him just to hang out with him. Also, he now runs an entire, like, magic academy of monks instead of, you know, just a couple of doctors that really don't give a shit about him.
That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, but it's one that he went to willingly.
Fair enough.
One would argue that his life has been enriched by that car crash. Plus, now he can see all of life's possibilities.
I don't want that business. Screw that.
Yeah, well, you're also not him. You're also arguably not a world-class surgeon either. You're not losing either side of this.
Says who? I could be a world-class surgeon if I wanted to.
You'd be on call a lot more than you currently are if that was true.
You're not wrong. Okay.
見覚えはありませんが。
ご無体な。この顔をお忘れになったと仰せですか。
知るも何も聞こうと
It's
初
quite
対
the
面。
unforgettable face.
人違いではないのか。
私です。ジルドレーにてございます。あなたの復活だけを祈願し、今一度巡り合う奇跡だけを待ち望み、こうして時の果てにまで果て参じてきたのですぞ。ジャンヌ。
ジャンヌ？私は貴殿の名を知らぬし、そのジャンヌなどという名にも心当たりはない。
そんな。まさかお忘れなのか。生前のご自身を。
貴公が自ら名乗りを上げた。
Okay.
私もまた騎士の霊にのっとって神名を告げよう。我が名はアルトリア、ウーサーペンドラゴンの着手たるブリテンの王だ。こたびはセイバーのクラスを得て限界した。
おお、なんと痛ましい、なんと嘆かわしい。記憶を失い、あげくさくらしてしまうと。
Okay.
我が麗しの乙女に神はどこまで残酷な仕打ちを。
いい加減にしろ。
I understand why people cannot understand them without the mental fog.
聖杯戦争はすでに決着している。
I mean, the problem with characters like this is that Joan of Arc, obviously.
Yeah.
Just waiting for him to add the arc part. Obviously, the problem with characters like this, for one, obviously being completely unlikable from the outset, but two, what if it was true?
Oh, very much so.
そこまでに心を閉ざしておいでか、ジャンヌ。致し方ありますまい。それなりの荒領事が必要とあらば、次は相応の準備を整えてまいりましょう。誓いますぞ、ジャンヌ。必ずや、あなたの魂を神の呪いから解放して差し上げましょう。
I will free your soul from the curse of God. That's a bold statement to say, even if that were Joan of Arc.
疲れるわよね。次は言葉を交える前に切ります。 ああいう手合いには虫唾が走る。
I mean, plus we've only got his point of view.
今夜の私にとっては良好だっ
If
たか
Joan
もし
Arc
れません。
was here, who's to say that she would be any more willing to be with this
危
guy?
険すぎる敵のように感じました。
Yeah.
セイバーのマスター追跡に思わぬ余力。よもやキャスターを捕捉できるとは。無論、おわぬ手はあるまいて。
Caster, the only guy that didn't show up to the last fight.
Yep.
いいね。完璧。
Yee.
Wait, you forgot when we met this guy? He was trying to kill a kid then too.
Oh, I didn't forget one bit. We just came in on a dope visual.
忌まわしくも神めは、未だジャンの魂を束縛したまま離さない。
ジャンヌってあの水晶玉で見てた彼女のこと？
我々は証明しなくてはならない。真意の失意を、愛の虚しさを、いかなる非道も悪徳も決して神罰には値しないのだと。
わかるよ。旦那のがよっぽどクールだ。
And I guess the fact that these two can get along speaks more to Ryunosuke's mind pollution level.
Yes.
そりゃつまりこれからは
It's also very interesting to see the scenes of two people who are clearly on the same mental wavelength. But if you put them around other people, they're like, this doesn't work.
なんかもったいないな。ああ。
Well, remember, it's like that thing I was talking about before. The fact that if you don't have an artifact or something to summon with, you just get someone that's like you.
Yeah.
今宵はなぜセイバーを仕留められなかった。一度ならず二度までも。さらにこの私の令状を一つ削いだ上でもなおだ。セイバーとの競い合いはそんなにも楽しかったか？
そのようなことを。騎士の誇りにかけて、必ずやあのセイバーの首はお約束いたします。
改めて誓われるまでもない。当然であろう。貴様は私に聖杯をもたらすと契約したのだ。
Of course, you'll do it. That's why I summoned you.
たかだかセイバー一人について必勝を誓うだと。一体何を履き違えている？
履き違えているのはあなたではなくて、ロード・エルメロイ。
そら。
ランサーはよくやったわ。間違いはあなたの状況判断じゃなくて。
The second most impronounceable name in the show.
Mm-hmm.
あの場で着実に倒せる好機を逃すわけにはいかなかった。
治癒不可能の手傷を負わせたんだもの。捨ておいたところでいつでも倒せたでしょ。
Yep.
そこまでセイバーを危険視していたのなら、どうしてあなたセイバーのマスターを放っておいたの？ただ隠れて見てるだけで情けないったらあれしない。
There's not only servants in this fight.
あなたは自分が
The
他の
difference
マスター
between
に対して
Digimon
どう
and
いうアドバ
Pokemon.
ンテージを持っているのか理解してないわけじゃないでしょ。本来の契約システムに独自のアレンジを加えたサーバントとマスター
You weren't around with me and Griff were watching death battles, but that was the most fun part of the death battle Pokemon versus Digimon. When the Digimon guy just runs up and starts attacking the Pokemon master.
The amount of times that those kids just threw fists, I was like, okay.
Because it's not something you do in Pokemon. That guy's like, what the fuck are you doing? We don't fight.
我が主への侮辱だ。騎士として見過ごせん。
いえ、そんなつもりじゃ。ごめんなさい。言い過ぎたわ。
You remember Lancer is a myth, though, right?
Yep.
They're even focused on it on the camera.
何事？
Women just fall for him.
Yep.
ああ、わかった。下の階で火事だ。まあ、間違いなく放火だろうな。
放火？よりによって今夜。
人払いの計らいだよ。
じゃあ、 襲撃
セイバーのマスターは可能な限り早急に槍の呪いを解消したいところだろうからな。下の階に降りて迎え撃て。
This is where Assassin is putting in work.
承知しました。
ご脚本にはケイネス・エルメロイ
Yeah.
の魔術工房をとっくり堪能してもらおうではないか。フロア一つ借り切っての完璧な工房だ。結界24層、魔力炉3機、猟犬代わりの悪霊、毛量数十体、無数のトラップに、廊下の一部は異界化させている空間もある。
Remember, these guys are
お
chief
互い存
magical
分に秘術を尽く
authority.
しての競い合いができようというもの。
Yeah.
私が情けないという視点。
It was the very clear indicator of I'm gonna wait in my tower until I need to come down.
アーチボルト様、ケイネス・エルメロイ・アーチボルト様、いらっしゃいませんか？はい。私です。ご心配なく。
That's
ケイネ
not
ス・エルメロイ・ア
you.
ーチボルトは妻のソラウトなども避難しました。そうですか。はい、結構です。
Also showing you that you're wrong almost
全員
instantly.
避難しました。
Mhm.
よし。準備完了だ。そちらは？
異常なしです
I mean, you know what that guy is. You remember what that guy is, right?
Yep. He's well, which one was he? I know he's not Assassin though.
No, but his nickname.
No, it's not coming to me. Oh.
That's why I paused to let it play out. If you won't come out of your tower, I'll take your tower down. No, his nickname is Magus Killer. They covered that in like
Oh, okay.
episode 1, I think.
まあいいや。
I remembered he had a cool slash nickname that mattered, but I did not know.
どんな魔術結界で防備を固めていて
Basically, people who
did not
use
remember
magic
what it
here
was.
are called Magi or Magus or whatever. So
Yeah.
Kenneth would be a Magus. This guy's the Magus Killer.
Yep.
まあいいや。撤
I
退
see he clearly has delicate tactics.
それにしても建物もろとも爆破するとは魔術師とは到底思えんな。いや、魔術師の裏をかくことに長けているということか。
ことみね切る
ほう、君とは初対面のはずだが。
Damn,
それ
everybody's
とも
fucking here.
私を知るだけの理由があったのか。
Mhm.
ならば君の素性にも予想はつくが。私にばかり喋らせるな女。返答は一つだけでいい。お前の代わりにここに来るはずだった男はどこにいる？
She gonna
なかな
die.
か悪くない動きだ。相当に仕込まれているようだ。 あの女が投げたものではないか。
Oh.
まあいい。あの女を助ける存在がいるというだけで、今夜のところは収穫だ。
I mean, remember, this guy's not here to win. This guy's here to back up
表では
the other
みだり
guy.
に姿を晒す
Yeah.
と言っておいたはずだが。
恐れながら早急にお耳に入れておかなければならぬ儀がございましたゆえ、ついにキャスターを補足いたしました。
アサシンに詳しく調査させましたところ、キャスターとそのマスターは宮山町から隣町を股にかけ、就寝中の児童を次から次へ、夜明けまでに15人を誘拐。おそらく今、
Jeez, they're putting in work.
している連続殺人犯と同一人物ではないかと。彼らは何の配慮もなく魔術を行使し、その痕跡の秘匿も一切行っている。
Oh, what's that? You're saying Caster is just using magic without hesitation? Who would have
全
guessed?
く眼中にないのではないかと。
錯乱して暴走したサーバントとそれを律することもないマスターか。一体どうしてそんな連中が聖杯戦争に。
これは放任できんでしょう、時臣君。キャスターたちの行動は明らかにルールを逸脱してあまりある。
無論です。私は魔術の秘匿に責任を負う者として断じて許せない。
キャスターとそのマスターは排除するしか他にあるまいな。
問題は、サーバントにはサーバントを持ってこうするしか手段もありません。さりとて、私のアサシンを差し向けるわけにもいきますまい。
Okay.
若干のルール変更は私の権限のうちです。すべてのマスターをキャスター討伐に動員しましょう。
Minor rule changes are within my authority, which goes to speak to your whole
数こそ少ないが
talking
時臣
about
の部屋よ
the
りも一品
on
が揃っ
church grounds thing
けし
from
からんで
episodes
しまった
back.
もの
Yep.
一体何の用だ。
退屈を持て余している者が俺の他にもいる様子だったのでな。
退屈。
でなければ教会の保護を受けているマスターの身分で勝手に出歩いたりするまい。
何のことだ。今さら契約が不服になったのか、キルガメッシュ。
時臣が俺を
I'm
招き
curious.
この身を
I'm
一緒に
curious if Caster is going to be
そして何
proved
よ
to
り
be
も
more of a
進化の
problem
霊
than
を
expected.
答えてやらんわけにもいくまい。だがあそこまで退屈な男とは思わなんだ。
時臣氏の差配が不満か。
根源の渦に至るだとつくづくつまらん企てがあったものだな。
So it's the oddity of Gilgamesh talking to this guy.
部外者がとやかく言えるものではない。根源へと至る道のりとは、いわば世界の外側への逸脱だ。内側への興味しか持たない我々には、つまらない企て。
He's giving off the energy of I care
なる
about
ほどな。
nothing.
確かに俺は我がにわたるこの宇宙をめでるだけで満たされている。俺の支配の及ばぬ領域になど興
I
味
mean,
が
they're
ない
also talking about world
根
building
源とや
that's
らには何
gone
の関
completely
心も
over
ない
my head
し
two
かし
times
生
now.
命は根源を求めるためだけに特化した装置ではない。万能であるということは、世界の内側をも変革しうる可能性を無限に秘めているということだ。
他のマスターどもは時臣とはまた違った動機で聖杯を求めているというわけか。
時臣氏は魔術師の典型であると同時に最有力だ。
Ah,
他の連
I'll
中
try
が
to
求めて
wait.
いる
Knew
の
he
は
was the bad guy.
総じて世界の内側、浮世の妙理であろうよ。威信、欲望、権力。
結構ではないか。どれも俺がめでるものばかりだぞ。
お前こそは俗物の頂点に君臨する王だな、キルガメッシュ。
そういうお前はどうなのだ、綺麗。聖杯に何を望む？
私は
Oh snap.
別段望むところなどない。
それはあるまい。聖杯はそれを手にするに足るもののみを招き寄せるのではなかったか？
そのはずだ。が私にもわからない。理想も悲願もない私がなぜこの戦いに選ば
I
れ
mean,
た。
that's why they chose you to fight for
理想もなく悲願も。
them. Because
なら
you,
ば
Yeah.
have, you say you have
い
no
いだけで
roles.
はないか。
バカな。
If I had to
優越
guess,
など
the only fact that I know about him from these first 6 episodes would be that he would wish for his wife back.
堕落だと？これはまた飛躍
I
だ。
don't know if he
なぜ優
would.
越と罪が結びつ
We
く？
remember heard that in the first episode that his wife died a year ago back
な
then.
るほど、悪行で得た優越は罪かもしれん。
No, I
だが
remember
人は
that.
善行によって
But
も喜びを得る。優越そのものが悪であるなどと断じ
again, I
一
don't.
体どういう
I concede it. That's the only sort of possibility so far, but I don't think he would.
ことみね、綺麗。がぜんお前に興味が湧いてきた。
どういう意味だ。
言葉通りだが、まあ座れ。優越というのはな、言うなれば魂の形だ。 あるかないかではなく、知るか知れないかを問うべきものだ。キレイ、お前は未だ己の魂のあり方が見えていない。優越を持ち合わせんなどと抜かすのは、要するにそういうことだ。
I also don't know what this does to your whole belief structure. The fact that we summon people back from Mythos who will talk to you about what the soul really is.
Yeah, that would be a wild ride.
Can't wait for someone to summon Jesus as their servant.
そうだな。手始めに俺の娯楽に付き合うところから始めてはどうだ？
私には遊興に費やす時間などない。
まあそういうな。時を見に課された仕事の片手間にできることだ。そもそも綺麗。お前は他の5人のマスターに感情を放つのが役目であろう。
そうだが。
連中の意図や戦略だけでなく、その動機についても調べ上げるのだ。そして俺に語り聞かせろ。
アサシンたちに言い含めておけば可能ではある。だがアーチャー、そんなことを聞いてどうするというのだ。
I am curious. What angle is Archer playing here? Because there's the obvious, but I don't know if that's actually what's going on.
いいだろう、アーチャー。受け負った。ただし、それなりに時間はかかる。
I mean, remember the thing I'm always telling you. Say the obvious thing out loud, or otherwise no one knows you think it's obvious.
I'm going to. I was just giving time to think of proper phrasing. It seems like Gilgamesh might be trying to get some action. But at the same time, I don't know what he's playing at.
私の求めるものの形もまた知ることができるだろうか。エミヤ、切りつく。
So again, the main thing for me, other than the attack against Caneth at the tower, or hotel, or motel, no, obviously it's not a motel, hotel, was Gilgamesh's speech there. Not about what Kiri is up to, but about the nature of the world and the Grail itself.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's setting up the MacGuffin, which I like.
Well, I mean, because he's talking about an inner and outer world, and the root of the world, and how the Grail affects that. I mean, it still goes a bit beyond me, but I do know somebody did make an insightful comment about it the last go-around, so maybe I'll try and bring that up at some point.
That would be dope, because so if I were to take an educated guess at inner and outer world, that would imply that domains exist separate from, like, the base material world.
I don't know what you mean by domains.
Like, so...
Next time on.
Yeah.
暫定的ルール変更を設定する。
エミやキリツグを殺してしまう。
逃げられる。今ならばまだ。
セイバーの支給は我が槍の竿。
貴様と聖杯を競おうとは思わない。
思い上がるなよこのヒップメが。
Anyway, go ahead.
Absolutely. So when I say domains, I mean, like, if someone, for example, let's use Gilgamesh. I think when Gilgamesh isn't summoned, he has his domain, his sort of afterlife, his heaven. That's what I'm saying with domains.
I don't know.
So
that seems like an entirely different, like, concept.
It could be. It could be.
Conceit, I was saying the word I was looking for. Like, an entirely different conceit about what the world is.
But, so... Because then, if I go by that implication, that could mean that the Grail would have the ability to alter or influence both our world and the world of whoever wins.
I mean, what's the root then in your domain example?
So the root would be what connects that to our world. So the root would be sort of the path of life and death, and different parts of the route would be where you are in different stages.
I think I get like two things that come to my mind. One, it's either like the Nordic world tree.
Yep.
And that the root is just the root and the tree itself is the world. But then I wouldn't know what the outer world would be. The other one would be more of like a, I don't know how to describe it. Either one, I'll give two examples. One, the anime example of like the Dragon Ball universe, which is that the whole universe is this dome, these little balls that circle around, and then you have heaven, which is the all-encompassing thing that surrounds these places.
Got it.
Or, my problem is that I only have a literary example of this one but the problem is it takes its literary example from real world religion stuff, so I don't know where it's basing its stuff from. Incarnations of Immortality, where the ether, the unwoven ether of the universe, is then woven into reality, and the entire purpose of existence is to weave the chaos of unwoven ether into order, and then divide all of that order into heaven and hell. So
I could see that.
So that's the basis that the outer reality would be the unwoven ether, and the inner world would be the world that we know. So you have all of these spirits and the mythos of the dead and everything existing in the outer realm, waiting to be ordered, and then everything in the inner realm. And I still don't know what the root would be in that example. The world tree example really defines what the root might be, versus the other one, which I guess maybe the root is. I can't remember. I think it's the aspects of fate, which is ironic given the name of the show. The aspects of fate in Incarnations of Mortality are the ones that go out there and turn the ether into the string that they then, not the string, they like in Incarnations of Immortality, the aspects of fate are the Greek ones. In the stories where like the three women that don't pass one eye around. One can see your past, one can see your future. They also weave a tapestry, which is the world. So all people's destinies, they're the ones that cut the strings of fate, which will end your life, that sort of thing. So they're also the ones that go to the ether and make the thread out of the ether to then weave the tapestry of fate with.
Yeah. So no, I think that's very much a possibility. I can use a tree as an example for my thought process. What I think it is, I think the roots are indeed like what you have in a tree, the feeding process for the tree. And I think the fruit that you're fed, and you can view a person as a flower. And if the flower fully blossoms, then it gets its own space. And that would be like life earned, live to a point, you pass, boom, you now have your space. But if you did not achieve what it takes to get there, you would fall, you would go back down, feed the tree, go back into the cycle. I think that's possibly what they mean.
I appreciate that. I'm never going to agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
The cycles of the universe that we're both like describing, I recognize are very metaphor heavy, but are also I understand what you're saying, and it's like, no, I don't think that's it. And I'm pretty sure that I'm wrong too, because I'm just like quoting other people's works that I think best fit. Like I said, somebody did make a comment back when the first go around on this, because I was just as confused then. Although I'll be fair to anybody watching this, I don't think I was paying 100% attention to Gilgamesh's speech at the time. I just recognized that he was saying something heavy on the world building that I didn't get. And listening to it now, I think for the third time, because obviously I went back to take notes about it.
Mhm.
Still is confusing, but I'm pretty sure the commenter knew what the hell they were talking about. So we'll pick that up at some point.
Indeed. And the only reason why I go to the process that I do is there has to be some sort of benefit for the servant.
I don't think that's a true statement.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be a benefit. The universe can be sorry, I forget the word I wanted to say. Uncaring. The universe can be
Yes,
not
it can.
designed for specific benefit reward. What does the universe care about benefit reward?
True. It's very much possible that that's the case.
Okay. I've got the comment here, and why not include it in the same video? You ready for this?
Yes.
From Alex V9. Some clarifications, no spoilers. 1. Regarding divinity, gods, and other myths. Yes, gods and all other mythological creatures exist. I think this comment comes from the previous thing. Because back before we were talking about, what's his name, Bluebeard?
Yep.
Caster. The fact that he goes into Cthulhu mythos, and it's like, I think our reaction at that point was, Cthulhu's not real. You know? I thought we were only pulling from real people, and then this dude pulls out Cthulhu tentacles. So, that's what this is responding to.
Yep.
All other mythological creatures exist, and the vast majority of myths and legends are real history and fate. Of course, common people don't know about this. The reason why belief gives certain types of attributes, such as divinity, to certain beings or people is because the world is composed of two sentient consciousnesses. The collective consciousness of humanity, Alaya, and the consciousness/will of the planet itself, Gaia, not to be confused with the primordial Gaia of Greek mythology, with the latter being the one that has the greatest authority. For example, Alaya can only grant a certain level of attributes when people believe in something about someone, such as the minimal divinity that Iskander possesses, but only Gaia can grant/turn something or someone into a god. This has only happened in the beginnings of the world. And finally, while the pharaohs were believed to be gods, sorry, this is I think something me and Griff brought up.
Mm-hmm.
While the pharaohs were only believed to be gods, none of them have the status of gods, but they do have a high degree of divinity or are descended of some god.
Okay, so that makes sense. I understand the basis that this would be going off of then. Because the idea of collective consciousness versus nature is, yeah.
Alright. 2. The Holy Grail in Fuyuki is not the same Christian Holy Grail of myths. It only has that name because it is an object that fulfills wishes/miracles. And no, neither the Eisborns nor any other family is descendant of Jesus. Again, I think it's just something we and Griff were thinking. 3. The Arthurian legend remains the same in fate. Only Arthur's gender and Mordred's conception change a little. Yes, Mordred is the son of Arthur and her sister Morgan Le Fay. I explain it. Since Arturia pretended to be a man, it was expected of him to have children. So Merlin, with his magecraft, gave her a male member that would last until she conceived with Guinevere. Morgan took advantage of this moment to put her under a spell and extract her sperm, which she used to create Mordred. So if you wanted
I
that
love
little
weird shit
fan
like that.
crafting, yeah. Fan crafting of the Arthurian legend for an anime.
I think that's great.
The relationship between Kenneth and Sula Ai as spouses is like many other mage couples. The relationships are very aristocratic, where they marry for convenience to obtain power and knowledge, and not for love. And that tension between Sulai and Lancer is due to the fact that, as already said, every woman who sees Lancer's face will fall in love with him due to the curse of the mole, hence the nickname Daramud of the Love Spot.
Yeah, no, it's very clear with that curse because of the shock and surprise when Saber was able to resist it in any degree.
5. Paraphrasing and summarizing what Kiri was explaining to Gilgamesh, what the vast majority of mages want is to reach the root. The root, or also known as Akasha, is the paradoxical metaphysical plane of the origin of existence, where everything that exists begins and ends. By being able to reach the root, the mage, who normally uses magecraft, will be able to use true magic. The difference between magecraft and magic is the level and degree of what one can do. For example, in magecraft, one uses a little mana to conjure fire, something that can be done with a lighter science. But with true magic, only science from the future, thousands or hundreds of thousands of years in the future, can achieve. In some ways, true magic can manipulate an aspect of reality.
Okay.
Like I said, I think that example of what the root is kind of fits with my whole the ether example that I mentioned before.
Ether is definitely a part of it, but based off that explanation, it's conscious and unconscious. It's very similar to the mind.
Well, I mean, because they said the origin of existence, where everything that exists begins and ends, and that's what I was talking about, the chaos of the ether being woven into reality, because it fits that whole chaos being formed into something.
So what it would be then is it would be Gaia is the one that weaves ether, and the other name would be the one that reshapes what's already woven.
Well, no, Alaya is the consciousness of collective humanity, which I don't
Yes.
think would weave anything because it's
No,
just
that's exactly what I just said. Gaia does the weaving. Alaya reshapes. It doesn't weave. So that's why you have the minor divinity of Alexander. Because the people believed in him so much that his impact was reshaped by their belief. But it wasn't creating that impact. He created that impact through Gaia, which then reshaped it to minor divinity. With yeah.
So I can recognize when we're pushing our thought process to the edge, when we feel like yeah, because that's
It's
the
just
I'm
because
at
the
the
name
end of the
wasn't coming to
rabbit.
me, and I wasn't gonna fight. I wasn't gonna fight to get the name at that point.
Well, I mean, the whole idea of the collective consciousness of humanity, Alaya, uh, being able to change anything. One of my, I would say top 10 possibly favorite sci-fi novels, Blood Music, is literally all about the cells science experiment that creates intelligence in cellular life itself.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that it outnumbers all other life, like in a whole sector of the universe, to the point where it can change the laws of reality based on belief.
Ooh.
Well, I mean, it does that and it vanishes one day because it moves on to a whole other plane of existence. But it also limits itself because there's also a limit to how much thought can exist in a certain. It handles all these things. It's a very good book, but yeah, it's basically kind of that.
That's sick.
So, I mean, I understand the idea about that, but my problem is, and what maybe I kind of alluded to there in my explanation of that, is if Gaia is just the planet, what about all the rest of the universe? It's like you're giving authority to a planet. but what if we go to Mars, right? I was just throwing that out there. What if we send astronauts to Mars? Obviously they can't participate in the Grail War because the Grail War is only a few. But I just mean, like, does the planet not give anyone authority, like divinity, if they leave the planet?
I don't know.
Can I not summon Neil Armstrong as a servant? Does he lose any power because he left the planet once? Does Gaia strip him of authority?
I think the real question is what class is Neil Armstrong?
Archer.
Because if you say Rider, he instantly wins.
Oh, it's Archer. Look, nobody is the class you think they are. Right? Never attributed, like, writing to Alexander the Great. I don't think the guy who's throwing swords around, I wouldn't have, I think he's throwing swords because they made him Archer. He was just a sword guy before.
I think that's a good note to.
Well, think about it, right? You were saying, obviously, you went to Ryder for Neil Armstrong because I'm thinking, what, you're gonna hit somebody with a space shuttle?
100%.
I was thinking Archer because Rod's from God, right? He's up there, he's throwing down shit, and it's hitting you with like meteoric levels of impact.
I think both could work.
Anyway, one last thing, number 6. It's not really something we brought up here, but the idea that me and Griff were talking about teleportation at some point because these people just seem to, like, the servants seem to vanish from one location and appear somewhere else. Number 6, teleportation is not something that mages can do, nor can the servants, as it would be breaking the laws of physics. When servants dematerialize, they only intangible and invisible. Even so, they have to walk or run to get to a location.
That's inconvenient.
Well, I think maybe we brought this up here because I think we thought maybe Kane just teleported somewhere. That he's not dead, he just poofed. Also, the fact that Lancer is a servant, that we keep seeing the servants just like vanish in one location and appear somewhere else, that Lancer and Kane just go on and escape the exploding tower. But their comment is saying that nobody can teleport.
Which makes it less likely that the tower was escaped.
Well,
I think they...
It makes it hilariously stupid, is what it does. Every time you see one of the servants just, like, dematerialize, all they've done is gone quiet and invisible, and now they're just running to the next place they gotta be. They're not... Well, it strips them of an element of, well, for one, cool factor, but, you know, also, I don't know, that attribute that you give every, like, badass that you've ever seen that you would just assume is cool all the time. You know, it's like if Batman would dematerialize like as a servant, and you could still see him. You know, he'd be, whoosh, and then gotta run to the next fight. You know, run to the next investigation.
Yeah, it's like the idea of Batman throwing the smoke bomb, running, and all of a sudden you hear a kid go, "Oh, hey, it's Batman!"
Yeah, hiding behind something. It just strips them of all, like, Gilgamesh there. We saw him turn invisible during his conversation with Kiri, and now just imagine him slow slinking throughout the room because you don't want Kiri to know he's still fucking here.
That makes me chuckle.
Well, any final thoughts about this episode?
It was a lot of setup, and it was some good world building.
I mean,
beyond that, no.
One could call it a night of schemes, in fact.
Imagine that.
Alright, done.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry, I just had to imagine that. Alright, well, once again, I've been Theta, this has been Justin, we've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video and what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. this too goofy?